Hey guys, this is Joe, and right now, just gonna show you the Austrian attack, and this is how to win with the Austrian attack. I really feel that white is better in every line possible, so I'll just go through it right now, and I'm gonna show you that there's really no way. There's no way to acquire small advantage. Really, it's a big advantage in all these lines with white. So I really think if you have trouble with the perk, then that's all going to melt away and you're going to be all right. So the first thing is the castle here. This is castle. This is the most basic line when they castle, and they let you get these 3 pawns out here, and it's really universal, the 2 knights, and then f4 is played. So when they take with the d pawn, when they take with the d pawn, you can take with your f pawn, and it also opens up for the rook after you castle on vertical f. So that's why f4 is played, so it can support e5. And the other thing is the vertical f is open for the rook after castling kingside, which happens in a long time from now. So again, most basic one is them taking right here, and this document on my left hand side is just so I can read off all the moves for you guys, and it will be impeccable. Another thing that you ought to know is just that I typed out that whole document. This is my own personal prep. I didn't get it from anybody. This is all Joey B right here, and it's original, but I really think that there's no way. So yeah, just like the video, please. White's better every line. Okay, so here we see one of the principles. The f-pawn supported e5 and the push. So they castle, you push right away. And then knight d5, that's what we'll look at first. And bishop c4, attacking it with 2 pieces, the knight and the bishop. And here, only 1 piece is supporting it, so there ain't all too many moves here. The weirdest is bishop e6 to support the knight on d5. e6 can be played, yet that shuts in the bishop, so principally that's not good. c6, it's really just passive, and white eventually will castle and have pressure on f7, as well as more space to play, and the bishop is just railing into these 2 pawns on the dark squares. And that's another thing about it, is the bishop that fianchettoed is hitting this concrete center. So the other thing is to move the knight to b6 or just snap on c3, and they're all really not that good. So bishop e6, and then this is really the move I came to, which is pretty awesome, is queen e2. Might look strange at first, but I'm going to show you pretty quick why it's so good. And just go over it by yourself a few times too, just so you can realize your own. But advantage in this is it's supporting c4, so I can liquidate these bishops and knights here, and then play c4. So you can imagine some move here like c5, which is one of the best moves, and that's right here in these lines. And then for the main principle that I've come to with queen e2 is that we're going to take, and they got to take here, and then I take, and they gotta take here to not lose a piece. And then I do my idea, which is c4, and then after c4, wherever the queen goes, c6, d7, e6 isn't that good. So d7 is the best because I'm not getting a tempo with d5. This pawn's supported by two pieces already, and I'm boasting really powerful center. So that's really one of the main things here. And the other move that they could play on move 7 is knight to d7. But really quick, going over the other lines after bishop c4 is knight b6 to avoid all the c4 business and queen e2. We put the bishop back here, which is a nice placement for it because there's pressure on f7, and after you castle, you're going to have a rook blasting down on vertical f, as well as some coordination with both knights on f7. So that's really, really a good one. You can imagine c5. It's not really that good of a try because you just take, and then after this you take with the knight, and then the only square for this knight is knight 6 to d7, and after that you can play e6, isolating their pawn here, and it's pretty much a huge advantage. Principally, we're gonna be up a pawn. They might be able to win it back, but this isolated pawn will become a target. We have much more space, and we'll castle, and a more comfortable game will ensue. So if they don't play c5 after bishop b3, and they play knight to c6, then we're gonna just I'm pretty sure it's a4. I'm still committing this to memory, but yeah, a4. And this is good because it gives a square for the bishop on a2 in the event that they play knight to a5. And when they're just trying to develop to these squares, it's not that good. I.e. bishop to f5, we're just going to castle, and it's not that bad. And bishop to g4, the surprising move knight to e4 is going to lend us a very, very strong position. So look at this on your own, and you'll see why I like this method so much. And then here, the principle is that the knight's not going to be on the king side, so the f4 square is healthy for the bishop, and we're overprotecting this pawn that's blunting this bishop. And it's a more comfortable game for white. And when they play something like c5, we can actually play d5. So this pawn is protected, and strong, powerful centers here with these two pawns in the phalanx position, as Manuel Lasker writes about, is an advantage in tactics, and they're always going to be on the back foot here, so it's really pretty much the way to go here. And obviously weird moves like knight here or something, or knight back to e8 aren't gonna be played really by anyone. And if they are, then you'll have a more comfortable game and play with the attack on f7 and castle and use your space. And remember the principles about protecting this pawn so you can push d5 if c5 is played, stuff like that. So that's when they take d6 takes e5, and when they don't play d6 takes e5, they just play knight d7 is one. Then after knight d7, bishop e3, the bishop's not going to be harassed by the knight. The knight's too far back, being 5 spaces away, and it's a really good game for us. And then the other thing here, knight g5, we can play h3, and there's nothing for them to do. They gotta retreat, and white's dominating here. So you'll have an exciting attacking game with all the chances being yours and none of the chances being theirs. So that's on the castle, which is one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is c5. Was it? Oh yeah, knight has to come out, and then c5. And here we throw this check. And just to get this out of the way, block with the knight, then we hit this. They play their knight out here. Then we could play e6, takes, and knight g5, and we're hitting this knight with the queen and the e6 square, and they can't defend it, so that's a really legit position here, and the advantage is really high for that from all the studying and analyzing that I've done through my own various methods of computer analysis and practicing and just concentrating on the positions on my downtime. Like if I'm waiting for a friend to do something, then I'm going through this in my head, and everything is great for white. So c5, and then bishop block. Bishop d7 is really the only sensible block here, not moving the king out of the way, and we just saw knight b d7 blocking it. The other knight blocking it is okay, yet it's passive. So the knight is going to get threatened right here with this, and after you play this central thrust on e5, the only move really is knight g4. These squares are covered on e4 and d5, so the knight can't jump there. So a lot of times people play the knight out to g4, and the thing is that holds this together is that pawn takes, we can take here, and we're winning a piece because a line like this, there's no other way for black to play, and we're just up a piece here, and we're gonna just keep sailing with a lot of wind in our sails. And here, another thing about this position is that they can't take here on b5, for if they do, you can take here, and then you're threatening this bishop. So if they move the bishop, then you take that, and if they just take here, then you can swallow that bishop up, and they're going to be down a piece again with a lost game. So I'm running through this quick. I hope it's not too quick. I'm not really trying to rush yet. You know, it's just a lot of lines to cover, and who wants a really long chess video when, you know, they can just kind of see my variations, and hopefully it will shed some light on how to do this. So knight g5, this is the trickiest one. You're gonna see that they can do c takes d4. Yeah, knight g5, and then h3. No, not h3. First you take. Yeah, first you take. Knight takes d7, and then bishop takes d7. Excuse me, and then with h3 to follow. So knight or queen takes, knight takes, whatever. Then you're gonna hit the piece. They go back, and your position is gonna be superior here. White's games are really a lot comfortable, and anyone want me to expand on that with another video, let me know. So that's the Austrian attack, and I hope that that system of principles and specific details will be enough to dazzle you into playing the Austrian attack variation with f4 thrown in against the Pirt's defense. Thank you for watching. Like the video. Peace.